welcome back. You know what? We have Ron Tsunami from the ID Cyber Center. Now, if you've been looking for a date on Find Me, well, they found you. They found all 416 million people, and you know what? There are hackers that found you. And we have Ron Tsunami to tell us about that, give us an update on the Office of Personal Management and the issues that are happening there. You know what? This segment, it'll save your money, save your life. Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks. Good to be here. You know, I always say it's not only your identity, it's your life. And it could be more appropriate than what's happening now. So it said something funny. Find me, and they did find you. So that's one of those adult websites.
Yes, you know what? Those are the websites that people are trying to hook up on, and
That's
you know
right.
they got hacked, and you know what? And that just came out on Monday, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Now, what can people do if they find out their data is compromised or their personal information is compromised?
First thing you need to do, if you were a member, go in and change your login, username and password.
Okay.
If you had a credit card there, if you signed for membership, go change your passwords, obviously, and then close your credit card. If there was credit card, permanent or recent credit card that you had on the account, shut it down, call your bank, and replace your credit card. I know it's a pain, but you know what? It's worth it to protect yourself. Other than that, I don't think they have any other personal information that I'm aware of yet, but it's still unveiling, so it could be. But call the credit bureaus, ask them to put a freeze on your identity or fraud alert to start.
Yes.
Fraud alert is a 90-day thing, so until you can figure out what's going on, call the credit bureaus immediately, put a fraud alert on your identity, and that's where you need to start.
And my understanding is if you do that and you have protection, that'll actually cover you for as much as, I thought it was like 6 years, because sometimes the theft of that data comes at you somewhere in the future.
Exactly. So what happens is, if you had an identity theft, the fraud alert would stay there for 7 years. Okay. However, if you want to do a freeze on your credit, that costs $5 or $10, depends on the bureau, I believe. But that means that you cannot pull credit or get any credit unless you unfreeze it. It's a little bit of a pain and it's a process. But that if you do it online, it's for 5 years. If you do it by mail, it's for life. So you can choose to do either one of those, and to avoid any possible unnecessary events. And you know,
you think these cyber criminals, they're getting smarter. So if you found out there's a hit like on Find Me, and you know, hey, we're not going to do anything. Everybody goes, okay, nothing's happened, nothing's fine. Here we are, 6-8 months later, 2 years down the road, it's bam, bam, bam. So it's important to do those things.
Great feedback, because if you remember a while back, a year or more ago, the Office of Personnel Management had a huge breach where, I don't remember the number, but tens and tens of millions of federal employees' most confidential information, which includes name, social securities, family members, ranking, middle names, everything a thief should want was compromised, and was stolen. Now, over a year later, guess what's coming up? Exactly what you're saying. There's something out there that's called Locky, which is a malware that installed itself into your computer. What did these hackers do? They send you an email with a signature from the Office of Personnel Management with an account executive name. So it looks totally legit. Now, if you've been a victim of the OPM, you'd say, okay, I see an email and it says update your information so we can further protect your identity, and you click the link. As soon as you click the link, the malware is installed on your computer. Now you're denied access to all your files on your computer, and now you're a victim of ransom, which means there are already more than few hundreds of people that are being attacked by that, and they cannot access their files unless they pay ransom with Bitcoins.
Okay, so I have a question. What if you don't pay the file, don't pay the ransom, you can't access your files? Now, if this is just your personal computer and you've really got nothing on there, you trash the computer and move on.
Yeah.
If it's your business stuff or your corporate, it could be very, very expensive to trash that and move on.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. You have to understand, those hackers, they're always one step ahead of the game. I'm saying a heck of the game because they are a heck of the game and they are ahead of the game. Everything we do, they already thought of that and they're a step further. So you really got to be careful and, protect yourself.
Well, let's talk about this. If you're a small business, what can you do? Because it's really expensive to get this. I pay a lot of money being a financial professional to protect our data. And what can you do to protect your data, have something there in case it happens to you, because it's not if, it's when.
Correct. Well, if people go on through your website, Steve, and we are coming up with a very revolutionary product that is going to be up and running in the next few weeks. It's actually small business protection, which no one offers yet. And it's the most affordable thing you can ever imagine. So what that will do, that will protect your business, your IP address, your domain name, and all the information of your employees. If any of your employees' information is hacked, or your reputation is in stake, somebody talks not nice about your business and about you, in your employees, maybe employee left you, or maybe employee's computer, like in the OPM, got hacked, and now all his information is vulnerable. Now he has your information of access to your company on his computer. We will be able to detect that and alert you, and our certified identity theft recovery employees would help you recover it back and stop all that from happening.
Ron, thank you for being on the show.
My
This
pleasure.
is great information. Just found out something new that's happening with us.
Correct.
You know what? ID theft is very, very important. For more information, you want to go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. Ron just talked about links there for small businesses. $40 is inexpensive compared to what I pay right now, so I'm going to be looking into that, and you might want to too. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Our next segment is all about cooking for life. We have Scott and Melissa Curry here to help us understand the benefits of cooking with a vegetarian life. Scott, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, tell us what we're doing today.
Well, so specifically right here, right now, I'm going to show you how to make a lasagna prepped in 5 minutes. It's going to be gluten-free, vegetarian, full of things that give you energy. I mean, think about it when you eat lasagna normally. How do you feel?
I want to go to sleep.
Right, yeah, right. So it's not a food you would choose. So what we do at Cooking for Life is we show people how to take old recipes and turn them into the healthy versions in a quick, simple, and easy way.
Well, let's get started.
Awesome, let's start cooking. So I'm going to start out here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pasta sauce in there. It's organic. Do you eat much organic food?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So organic, they put pesticides on it to kill little bugs and beings, and we're big versions of that. So we recommend, there's a clean 13 and the dirty dozen. Kind of stay into your clean foods. Then we're going to take, and I'm going to throw in some eggplant. Now, eggplant is really great, according to the American Alzheimer's Association, for memory retention. So we're just going to put some of that in here on the bottom.
We all need memory retention.
What are we talking about?
I got to get my keys. I don't know where they are.
You see my phone?
All right, so we're going to throw that. You didn't know it's funny, right? We're going to throw that in here like so. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to add some gluten-free. And when I say throw in there, I mean, I'm not the traditional cook that takes and places things. I mean, cooking, you can just toss things in there really easily. And then we're going to put in some gluten-free noodles. Now, you said you were gluten-free.
Yes. The reason why I eat gluten-free is I went through colon cancer 10 years ago. And I find out when I have breads and non-gluten-free items, my feet tend to swell. So if it's gluten-free, I don't have those issues, and I think that's wonderful.
That's one of the ways that we can actually tell when we're allergic to something is our body swells up. So if we eat something and we get that bloated belly or bloated feet, that's an indicator that our body isn't enjoying something that we're eating, right? So that's a great litmus test. Okay. Great to be a cancer survivor. Good for you.
Well, thank you.
And you've shifted. You eat mostly vegetarian now?
Yes, mostly vegetarian, except for I've got to have my burger.
Well, we all have that one thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to put onions in here, John. Onions are a great anti-inflammatory food. Our body can heal if we put the right things in. So onions are really, really good for us, along with garlic. They're in that same family. Then we're going to teach people to leave the skin on the food because a lot of the nutrition lives right in the skin.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to put some carrots in here. And you know what carrots are good for, right?
Eyeballs.
Do you know how I know that?
How?
I've never seen a bunny wear glasses.
Oh. Da-ding.
Yeah, you can do that. So carrots, a great source of vitamin A. They're really good for us. They're a great antioxidant. We're also going to put some sweet potato in here. They kind of live in that same family.
I love sweet potato.
Nice. How do you think you're going to feel after you eat this lasagna?
Oh, I know I'm going to feel good, but you know what? I might eat too much, so I have to go to sleep again.
Well, you know, we're supposed to get 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And so far, we've put tomatoes, which have lycopene. We've got carrots, onions, sweet potatoes, eggplant. So 5. We're going to put a little zucchini in there. And it's really easy to be healthy, Steve. All you need to do is put a lot of color into your diet. So we're going to put in some yellow squash and some zucchini. How many, were you counting? How many does that add up to now?
I don't know. I was just paying attention to the food.
I know, isn't it awesome? So, you know, a lot of colors goes in here, and that's why when you eat this, I'm going to leave out the cheeses, and people, if you're Italian, they go, but that's not a lasagna, where's the cheese, right? So I am going to put just a little bit of pepper jack cheese over the top. Okay, and now pepper jack, if we put cheese in and they pre-grate it for us, it always costs us more. So we want to take, and I call it earth to hand to mouth. Try to keep our food as natural as possible, as close to the earth. The fewer people that touch it, the better. And then we also want to, you know, eat all natural. Less processed things are going to be better for fighting off those diet-related diseases like the cancers, the high cholesterol, the diabetes, all those diseases that are plaguing us in our society today. There we go. And we'll finish it with some red peppers.
This looks great.
Does it look good? Are you hungry?
Yeah. I'm easy. You just got to show me food and I'm hungry.
Doesn't that look amazing? So basically, when you eat this, or you come to any of our cooking classes at our wellness program, that's what we'll teach you, is how to take an old recipe and make it into a healthy version for yourself.
This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Now, when somebody looks at making this change over to eating healthy, how hard is it? How simple is it? What you know, when they go through one of your classes, is it just simple, basic recipes that they can get, and then they're just making sure they? I mean, this was really simple just to watch you do this. Yeah,
that's a good question. So how can you, what are the steps? I mean, what is the easiest path? I say it's baby steps to health. So wherever you are now, if you just take and look at your plate and you put mostly vegetables, because we need fiber and antioxidants are the two things that are going to help lower our cholesterol, help us have more energy, get to that optimal weight. So you put mostly vegetables and a lot of color, and then you're going to just be eating healthier.
That's great. Now, Scott, you know what part of Eating for Life or Cooking for Life are you part of?
Well, it's our business together. She's the coach for a lot of things, and what I do is I handle the marketing. We go out to walks and runs, and I'm her actual agent for speaking.
Okay.
She's such a good speaker. We were at the Successful Aging Expo, and they came back and said, wow, that was good, we want you back next year. So I handle a lot of the background details so I can get her out in front and get the good news of healthy cooking to the world.
Now, how can people get involved with Cooking for Life?
Well, so there's two ways. We do have our website, and we do have cooking classes at our facility. And the classes we do, like I do a plant-based class. And every time we do a class there, we will take and add plant-based to it, simply because people go, well, that couldn't be that good. It's all bland. So we want to show you that eating healthy can be simple and flavorful. We have several health coaches. We have Health Coach Cam, who graduated from the Integrative Medicine Nutrition. We have Andrea Kiesel, who's been a health coach and healer for many years, and she teaches a class. So many different versions that will just take those. Most cooking classes just show you how to do fats and oils and butters. We're going to show you how to do those unique ingredients that actually help give you energy, clean out your arteries, all those great things.
And what are the costs for go to the classes?
Somewhere to take a class at our office, it's just $60. And then we also have in-home classes where we come into people's homes and we show them how to fry chicken without oil. We cook vegetables with no water, because water and high heat have been shown to cut back the amount of nutrition in food to less than half. So we show people how to cook with low heat and no water and maximize their nutrition.
So really what you're doing is you're showing people how to get the most out of their meal, their vegetables, and how to do it a little bit differently so they can live a healthier, higher quality of life.
That's the key, right? Because we all know we're going to get older. It's just a matter of what kind of older person do we want to be, the one that has to do this, or the one that can pick up their grandbabies and play with their kids and enjoy the travels and go wherever they want in life.
That's why I eat healthy, because I want to play with my grandkids.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I've got a long way to go before I get some grandkids. Scott, Melissa, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing this with us. Hey, if you'd like to get more information about Cooking for Life, go to our website at the Silver-Haired Tsunami. Stick with us, we'll be right back. So you're looking to make a transition. You know what, with over 100 million people over the age of 50 in the United States, we see a lot of people as they start getting older need to make a transition out of their current real estate. That means their primary residence. And as they get closer to the age of 80, like my folks, they start looking at different options. And some of those options are continued care retirement communities, rental assisted living communities, memory care facilities, and you know what? It's a tough decision to make. That's why we have Linda Malikian. She is a senior life transition advisor, and she's here to give us some information to educate us all about it. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. I'm glad to be here. And so a little bit of what I do is I help guide seniors and their families through that whole transition of aging. It's very complex. I'm a certified senior advisor, so I'm trained in over 20 different areas of aging. That's how complex it is when you are going through that fourth quarter of the game. So a lot of people think, well, you know, I'll just be healthy and then one day I'll be dead. And that's their ideal world. And
we all wish.
Isn't that, you know, that's what we all want to have. But pretty much that doesn't happen to us. And with the way things have changed with healthcare, we don't die young. We live longer, and so there's a lot of issues that come with that. It's complex, and the most important thing to know is you don't know what you don't know. And especially all of the options that are out there. Do I stay in my home? Do I move to a community? If I move to a community, what does that look like? The one that I see on television or the one that I see down the street? The one that my friend is in? When do I make that decision to leave my home? Or is it okay to stay in my home? And if I do, how can I do that and be successful at it?
That's a whole lot of information.
It is.
Just in itself right there. Mm-hmm. So when somebody's looking at a facility or a community, what is the first step they want to take a look? What are the first things they want to consider?
Number one, get help.
Yep.
First of all, do I want to go into a large community or a small one? Do I want to go into a CCRC, like you mentioned earlier? Continuing care retirement, keyword, community. And you go into that younger and you're more active, but there's a cost to that. There's a pretty substantial payment that you make, and then you have your monthly rent. But it's more for those active people, those who have fair amount of funds, mm-hmm. and they want to have the knowledge that I can age in the same community. Or do I want to go to a rental one and not put down a large amount of money, or maybe I don't have a large amount of money, and that's a lot of us out there. Do I want to live in a place where independent is separate from the assisted side of it? Do I want to have them integrated? Because if I can stay in my apartment as my needs increase, it's my home. I don't mm-hmm. have to move. Other people want to keep that separate. If in a CCRC, if it's time for me to need more care, do they have room? That's a question to ask. And do they have memory care? Should I need that? And within memory care itself, there are a lot of choices. Is it only an open community where it doesn't take people who are wander risk or at the very end stages? Is it a place where you can transition for, I'm okay right now, but I've got a little bit of impairment, and then it progresses, but they have programs to keep you independent longer before or if you need to move to a closed community where the people with the biggest disease are. Do I need to have a place that has skilled there, a skilled nursing facility? Or is that not important? And what most people don't realize is the nursing home of old is really gone. These are skilled nursing facilities that are really there for post-hospital stays. They're short-term stays. Medicare does not pay for custodial care, your long-term care. That's the biggest myth that is really out there, is like, well, if I need care, Medicare will pay for me to live. And it doesn't.
No, it typically pays for the retraining in about 90 to 110 days. Besides the coverage after that, it's long-term care and it's coming out of your pocket.
That's right. It comes out of your pocket, and it's very expensive. And now there are some instances where custodial care in a nursing home happens, skilled nursing facility happens, but typically that's for somebody who has significant medical needs. I have a feeding tube, I need injections, I need nurse oversight 24 hours a day, or I'm indigent and Medi-Cal pays for my care and my housing.
So you went over a lot of different things, and just like in my field, a lot of people didn't grow up learning about those things like you've spent the last many, many years learning and understanding those things, like I in the financial field. So it's really important that somebody sits down with somebody just like you and understands how their transition, the way they want their transition, but they need to do it early before they start becoming unhealthy.
Make it a plan.
Because they might not be able to make that decision for themselves, and they're stuck with others making the decision or the state making the decision.
Right, right. And maybe they want to and can stay in their home, because half my clients are staying in their home and aging there, and half of them are moving to a community. So how do you stay in your home and make it safe and make it healthy for you? And there's a lot of things that you can do so you're not completely dependent upon your offspring. The grown children right now are really, really taking it on the chin. They're called the sandwich generation. And so I am my middle years, I'm working, I have a home, family, kids that I have to run around. And now I've got mom and dad too. And my plate is full.
Linda, thank you so much. You've set a big light, and we're probably going to have you back to keep going on this subject, but that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being part of us today.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, if you're in a situation like, my folks, just like Linda said, they don't want to have us take care of them, and we're 5 kids because they want us to have a retirement as well. If you'd like to get more information about Linda Malikian and the Senior Life Transition Advisor.com, go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, you want to save a whole bunch of money? You can now. We have Jonathan Jarotz, Vice President at Synergy One Lending. He's going to talk to us about interest rates. What a lot of people don't realize is interest rates are ticking up. And if you're getting a mortgage, credit card, car loan, wow, it could have a major impact on your income, the expenses, the whole deal. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much, Steve. Glad to be here as always.
I think this is a perfect time for this topic because a lot of people don't realize how much money is going to fall through the cracks if Janet Yellen increases interest rates.
Yep. Well, so that's one aspect, right? The Fed's increasing interest rates, definitely going to affect credit card payments, the auto loans, as you stated, that short-term money. And the other thing is kind of post-election is what's happened to long-term interest rates and the immediate sort of reaction to the market and what's kind of happened with bond markets. So in long-term rates, mortgage rates are tied to treasury markets and mortgage-backed securities. And looking at the mortgage-backed security chart, just 3 business days, I should say, post-election, the mass sell-off in that bond market, the 10-year Treasury, basically a 50 basis point swing from election evening kind of futures market to 3 business days later. And mortgage-backed securities, if you look at the chart, they're called candlesticks. The green is good for long-term rates, and the red is bad. And when you see that drop off, that means mortgage rates are going up. So, Steve, it's one of those things where people have kind of gotten very complacent when it comes to interest rates and what they're doing.
So let me ask you this. What does 50 basis points mean to the everyday person walking the street?
Yeah, well, a 0.5% can be, depending on the loan size, right?
Average house in San Diego, what, 600?
You're talking a couple $100 a month.
Okay, so a couple $100 a month. That's just right now. Yeah. So next month when Janet Yellen decides to raise interest rates, or Britain, the LIBOR, they were looking to raise interest rates by a 0.5 point before Brit exit.
Right.
And now everything's calmed down there. They might be looking at doing that again because everything's back to status quo.
Right.
So that means people could be in a position where, like, if they wait too long, they could be not paying a couple $100 more, but for $500 more, and then it's $6,000 a year. Hey, that's a difference in a car.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And we still have people in adjustable rate mortgages, Steve, or lines of credit, those seconds, or first lien seconds, those lines of equity, home equity lines of credit, that are adjusting right now. And it's, I actually talked to somebody who's a client, family people. They have a daughter going off to college this coming year. And that principal and interest payment compared to their interest-only payment that they're paying right now is going up $400 a month. And that's just the one-time adjustment. Janet Yellen increases interest rates by 0.25%. That payment's going to go up even higher. The next time she raises interest rates again, payment goes up higher. Where does it end? And with these long-term rates, if you want to do something, if you want to kind of stop the bleeding with the payment, long-term rates are going up. And now's the time where people need to kind of unbury their hand out of this. I hate to say it, but you've waited too long. You got to make a move.
Well, here's one of the big things that people don't realize. See, the last time the rates were this low was in 1960s.
Yeah.
So if you think this is going to come back or stay this way for a long period of time, it's not. Once the economy gets rolling, you're going to see those interest rates go up. You're going to see the difference on your mortgage. Now's the time to take a look at it. Now, you offer a free analysis of somebody's mortgage. How does that work?
Free mortgage checkup. I mean, people should be doing this annually, if not every 6 months. But it's really just sitting down, looking at your mortgage, what's your interest rate, what's your balance, what's your goal, right? Maybe you're in a 10-year mortgage and you actually want more flexibility. Maybe you're in a 10-year fixed and your payment's pretty high, but you were thinking, I need to get this house paid off. But you're kind of strapped financially every day, especially if you're on a fixed income in retirement. And maybe you move that to a 20-year mortgage because it's not that important to pay off the mortgage in your whole entire financial plan. And you save yourself $800, $1,000 more, maybe $1,500 a month just in payment. And it frees up other money.
I was just going to add something else. There's many people we've spoken with in the last 3 or 4 months that, from a financial planning perspective, long-term, financial well-being from an income standpoint, they say, hey, I owe $300,000, $400,000 on this home, but I've been paying on it for 15, 20 years because I used to owe $600,000. But if they refinance now, their payment is less than half of what it was before, and they can use that as income to go to live the life they want. And people don't realize, hey, you know what, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot, and it's time to take a look at that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and there's still opportunity to buy investment properties, Steve. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, maybe get in on that before interest rates go up too much and pick up an income property. I mean, there's a lot of value. After Prop 64 passed, from what I'm told is people are going to want to come to San Diego, and rental rates are going to go up even higher.
I think that was going to happen anyway because everybody loves our city.
That's right. Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you so much for sharing that information because it does make a big difference in people's lives and it gives them the ability to not have their money fall through the cracks, and we appreciate that.
My pleasure.
You know what? For more information on your mortgage, you know what? Go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. Hey, stick with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.